So we're gonna do a lyric breakdown of our song "Tentative," which released alongside our debut album "Reticence." Came out at the end of last month. This is Annalise Rydell. Uh, she wrote all the lyrics for the song, and yeah, let's get right into it. I know you have your lyrics on you,
Yeah.
so do you want to explain the general message you had when you were writing the song?
Okay, sure. Um, so one thing about this song, which is really interesting, was I had the idea back in October, and I don't remember if you remember that I kept trying to write for a song that you'd given me, but I couldn't do it because I kept getting stuck. But I had the concept in my mind because I was like 23 and I had just turned 24, and I wanted to I don't know. I just felt really stuck at home and I just like felt very stuck in my memories because I feel like that's one of the things that you don't really talk about when you're entering your mid 20s is that you feel very tied to these people and you're just like you're in that phase where you're getting out of college and everyone's moving on with their life. You don't have that kind of similarity with them anymore.
Yeah,
Like you want to be a part of that world, but you also feel kind of your ambitions and your dreams kind of moving you forward, and you're just it's just a very stuck feeling. And I think a big part of it was like I was living at home and I just felt like it wasn't serving me anymore, but I just like cherished those memories so much that I was trying to relive like the life that wasn't serving me anymore. So that was kind of the inspiration for that kind of song, which is kind of weird because it was the last song I actually ended up writing for, because there's just this one significant moment that just kind of was like, all right, I got to do this and I got to actually finish the lyrics, and we'll see that in the lyrics. So
hmm.
let's start with the first line.
All right, let's start with the first line.
Okay, maybe the first two lines actually,
Yeah.
because they kind of go hand in hand. So the first two lines are, I try to relive you in my days. I go through motions when I've outgrown my fate. So that basically has to do with, for a majority of the song, the you that I'm going to be addressing in the song is the memories. So it kind of goes back to what I was talking about. Like you try to keep pulling the memories back into your everyday life, being like, oh, you kind of live your life along your memories, and you're just going through motions that you've always gone through, but they don't serve you anymore. Um, Fun fact is, it was supposed to be when I've outgrown my phase, but Ray was like, "Did you just say you've outgrown your fate? That's so cool." And I was like, "No, but we can change the lyrics."
Yeah,
So,
it was one of those moments where it was those kind of like happy accidents that worked out really, really well.
yeah.
Um, and it was just kind of an on-the-spot change when we were recording. Um, where like you had spoken the word actually
Oh,
during a
yeah.
take, and I listened back and thought it was really cool. Showed to her, and we just made the change from there.
Next to, we're gonna do three lines. So it's keep you alive, can't go away. Referring back to the memories again, just, always bringing them up, always trying to live in them. I feel like I've been wasting my life. That is such a dramatic lyric, but I felt like it was important to say because I was thinking about when I was 23 and 24 and just like right out of college, and I felt like I spent a majority of my time like so caught up in things that had already happened that I was too busy focusing on that I just like wasn't really living in the present anymore. And I just, before I knew it, like the year was over. And I was like, where did it go? Like, what did I do this whole year? And it was just, I was basically just reliving college memories, which is
Right.
not good. It sounds so pathetic, but I feel like it happens more than not. Come back to spaces, turn back time. That kind of relates to when I was living in my first apartment outside of college. I would always come back home because I always felt that the people who I grew up with were going to be there. And even when I went back, I lived in my college town for a year. And, I thought it was going to be the same thing. And I just thought that the space would make the time stand still. but it never did, and everything was always changing. So you try to go back to the places that you're used to being around because you just assume that if you go back everyone's going to be there, but that was not the case whatsoever. um Next two lines are pretty straightforward. I know I should move on. Okay, that's pretty straightforward because in the end we've all gone. That's kind of the realization that everyone that you wanted there to be, everybody that you're hanging on to and the time that you're hanging on to, like, it's gone. You can't really do anything about that. um and then there's this part where there's a vocal kind of distortion, and it's I feel this guilt in my chest for everyone I haven't left. And that's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning, where you feel the guilt from kind of remaining complacent. I would say complacency is probably the best word to describe it, because you know that these people aren't serving you anymore, but you feel guilty if you spend so much of your life getting to know them, or a majority of your college life, whatever phase of life you're in.
Hmm.
I feel like if you were to let them go, you'd be a bad person because you're trying to grow into who you're supposed to be.
Right.
People aren't supposed to stay in your life forever,
Right.
unfortunately. Like, the cruel reality of friendships is that a lot of times they have time restrictions on them. Like, nothing actually lasts forever, and that was kind of a kind of
Yeah. I
realization.
think like the biggest kind of underlying message that I got from the song was about uh, people coming and going in your life, and this is huge, especially in our 20s. I feel we're at such a pivotal time, and everyone's kind of moving in all these different directions,
Yeah,
and people drift apart, or you can outgrow your friends is another one. Like suddenly you realize that you don't click with them anymore, and it's kind of hard to let go of that if you spent so much time hanging out with these people. So that's the main message I got from the song. Um,
yeah.
Super important.
It's super important. And I feel like, you kind of created this whole album being at the time stage that we are. We're both in our mid 20s. And mid 20s is such a weird time because there's a lot of people who are like still in the past, but then there's a good chunk of people who are like moving into the next phase. It's like you're caught right in the middle. And sometimes
Right.
it's so confusing having that kind of identity crisis. Like,
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a lot of pressure too, especially in your mid 20s, that you're kind of not sure where to be. Some people are having kids and getting married, other people are, just making their way for their first job,
yeah,
and that can definitely cause a lot of confusion. Like, where am I supposed to be in life right now?
right.
And I feel like that's what the 20s is for figuring that out, and that's what we base the album off of.
Hmm.
All right, let's move on to the next line.
Okay. So this is the chorus that we're heading into. The first two lines of that is I've been spending time living in the memories I've already had. Pretty straightforward. I try to move on, but my past keeps on bringing me back. Also straightforward. It's kind of everything that I said in the first chorus is leading up, or first verse is leading up to this. I've been spending time living in the memories that bring me home. So basically, kind of like I was always looking for a reason to go back home, like to my parents' house, or a reason to stay home. Like, I was looking for a reason to remain complacent, and
Hmm.
it was
Is
just
that
weird.
is that like a kind of double meaning too, where you're talking about like the physical location of home, but
Yeah,
also like in your head or in your heart, trying to
yeah,
search for that place as well?
definitely. Because when I wrote it, I thought about all the times I'd try to drive home, and like thought about all the times I would go home looking for that home. Uh,
Right.
Figuratively. So both of those, yeah. And then the last line of the chorus is I want to move on. It holds my heart, but I can't find my soul. And that's really the kind of split between your heart is your home. Your heart is where your home is, but your soul is where your dreams are. And like, I just felt like nothing was lining up, and I had to give one up, or sacrifice one thing for the other thing, and it sucked. Because I didn't feel like if I stayed in one spot, I was going to be happy. Like, if I stayed home, I knew that I wasn't serving my future self. But if I like totally abandoned where I came from, and just the idea of all the people that I'd grown up with and the memories I already had, that I was abandoning my past self, and I didn't want to do that either. So it was kind of a thing. Then we're gonna go into the cool little vocoder part. So basically, the following four kind of stanzas are very specific memories that I think about quite a bit. So it's take me back to the night Kanye said we touch the sky, bring me back to summer highs. I went to a Kanye West concert, and that was a great time in my life. Like that whole year was great. But that was definitely something that I really like to think about.
Yeah. Standout moment, right?
In that moment, definitely. Take me back to when we danced, my black dress, that old band. I think I can't, you think I can. This one goes all the way back to high school. Take me back to when we danced refers to prom. And my black dress is prom. And I went to prom with someone I was in a band with. So I refer to the old band I was in a part of. I think I can't, you think I can. So that also refers to my prom date because he's actually the one that got me into music. He had approached me and he was like, "You want to sing in this band?" And I don't think he had ever heard me sing before because I wasn't really doing music. So I just decided to, but that gave me so much confidence that like kind of led to all of this kind of happening. Like, oh, maybe I can do music. Like maybe that's what I want to do. So like I had to mention him in the song because
Mm.
he's such a powerful figure in my life. Take me back to Mockingbirds. That refers to a play that I was in high school. I did theater in high school. When we'd wear our matching shirts, improv, we'd always wear matching shirts. We planned our sets, but not our words. We'd always, one thing I remember a lot is when we were getting ready for a show for improv, we'd cast who was in what improv game. But I think a lot of people tend to think that if you cast the game, you kind of know the situation and circumstances. Like we obviously rehearsed the games, but we never planned our words because that's what improv is. And then the last part of this, before the verse two, is the one that kind of hits the hardest, because this was kind of the event that triggered the writing of this song, like being like, oh my god, I have to finish it. And it's friendships last forever and forever last 9 years. I've outgrown you, so I've outgrown that fear. That kind of refers to the longest friendship that I've had. And like I said at the beginning, we tend to think that people are going to be staying in our life forever, but there comes a point where environments change, and environments, unfortunately, like, you don't think about it, but environment affects friendship. And I just felt myself drifting away from who I was. And I just started to grow apart from this friend who I'd known forever. And a part of me felt that really big guilt that if I were to outgrow this person, like what else would I have? And I've outgrown you means like, I'm coming to terms with, I'm not taking up the space in her life that I once did, and she's not taking up the space in my life that she once did. And when you've outgrown that fear of letting someone go, I mean, it sounds terrible, but you just feel so much more free. Um, so that's kind of, I don't know, when you're tied to someone for so long, it kind of feels like shackles because people are always tying you to that person, and it just feels like very freeing once you're kind of your individual self.
Mm-hmm.
So going on to verse two. So it's, I see faces that I've never seen before, go through emotions that have led me straight to the shore. Um, that relates to when I was just like, all right, Annalise, make the jump, and I moved. I mean, I didn't move very far. I only moved like an hour and a half away, but I moved to a place I'd never lived in. I didn't really know anyone here. Um, but I felt like, now or never, just take the jump. So I did. Um,
This is
and
the
I,
spot you're in now, right?
yeah, that's where I am now.
Exactly.
I live by the ocean, so that's why it's by the shore. Still alive in the back of my mind. Memories are still coming up, even though I'm trying to work through it. I feel like now this is my time. I feel like now that I feel kind of more free from past kind of restraints, I feel like this year and the next few years are gonna this is gonna be my time. Like it's me. Um, I still feel you in the back of my mind. Memories are still there. Yeah, I move on, moving on, and do hold on. Remember, you is always referred to the memories in this case, so memories are still like trickling back and trying to pull me back. Um, I feel this guilt in my chest for everyone I've left. So that's kind of referring back to the first verse of the people that I just like don't talk to anymore because they don't serve me anymore. You know, it's nothing against them. It's just, we grow apart.
Hmm.
Very organic thing to happen. Um, yeah, so I feel guilty about that sometimes
Yeah,
about it. This is the second chorus. I've been spending time making new memories I've never had. And I think that's huge because actually I was with my friend last night and we're like, we spend so much time talking about memories that I feel like people don't make them when they're always talking about them. And so I feel like I've been trying to focus on getting with my friends and making memories so we don't always have to relive the ones that we've already had and talk about the people that were there before. Like we're still in each other's lives. Like let's make new ones. So
definitely.
been feeling that one. I try to move on, but fear keeps on pulling me back. The fear of pretty much everything that could possibly go wrong. Like, what if I tried this and I failed? Like, obviously, they always say that trying is better than not doing anything at all. So, but it's always scary when you're putting yourself in terms of music or, any kind of art. It's scary to be vulnerable because
Definitely.
like people put so much pressure on you. Like, oh, you only got like
Oh
three.
yeah. Oh,
It's
that too. And I still feel super nervous whenever I show anyone any music because it's such a
oh,
raw, like art form. You're really putting your soul out there for everyone to see.
oh, so true. Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, I think we've got bit tenacity. So,
Hmm.
um, okay, I've been spending time making homes work out of the holes. This refers to this apartment. I mean, it's not a hole. I like my apartment. Like it's a nice place. But I just like I it feels weird because when I moved here, it was hard to start calling this my home, even though I'm like 25. I'm like, all right, this is your home. Like I
Right.
always refer to my home as my parents' house because it's just what I think of it. So everything else is like, how is this gonna be my home? Like, how do I make this mine?
Right.
So I'm in that process, but it's all good. Um, I'm trying to move on. I feel my soul beat, but where is my home? Obviously, I feel like now that I'm here, I can pursue more of what I want to. But now that I am, I'm like, okay, I feel like that other half of me is now missing that I addressed in the first chorus. Like, there's always going to be something missing, unfortunately, but that's the price. Okay. And then the last kind of vocoder stanzas are also memories, specific memories. Take me back to the night you said, leave me and you behind. I'd come out the other side. This was kind of the first time I was with someone, and it was the first time I ever vocalized the fear of, being pulled back and being pulled forward. It was the first time I ever said it out loud, and they were like, yeah, you're so right. And it was just the idea, like, that it was okay to leave things behind. And it was scary, but it was just like kind of the reassurance that I needed that I can leave. Um, Take me back to the halls. You come to me when I'd call. I was scared and I was small. This one was from when I was like 8 years old. I used to be really scared of the dark. And I shared a room with my sister, and I'd get thirsty at night. So I didn't want to get out of bed to get water. So I'd call my mom, and I just like have these vivid memories because I do it quite a bit. And I'd call her name, and she'd come and she'd give me water. um, Take me back to our home. We'd play our future pay with stones. We were all unknown. That one refers to my childhood again. Obviously, my house when my sisters and I grew up there together. I have three sisters, so it was always a very full house. Me and my sister would go outside and we'd play on our bikes and we'd basically kind of recreate our reality and pretend like that was our future. Like, um, oh my gosh, we played cars, so we'd like drive our bikes around and take the exact routes that we would take if our mom was taking us to school, and we'd drop off our kids, and like I would take my fake kids to like piano lessons, and we made sure it was like kind of like the route that we would take, so we'd play kind of, grown up, and then we'd pay with stones. Oh my gosh, this is how we broke our bikes, I'm pretty sure. But we used to get bags of rocks and then hang them from the brakes on our bikes, and they broke the brakes because they were so heavy. But we used stones as like a monetary value. Um, we were all I'd ever known. Obviously, I grew up with my sisters, and they are kind of the friends that I still have, even though they are my sisters. But it was just, you know, I felt very fulfilled with my home life. So that was all I ever wanted to know. And then family lasts forever. This is the last line. Family lasts forever and memories do too. They come along with me, but I can't go with you. Remember, memories is the you that I'm talking about. Um, Obviously, my family is always going to be there for me. I just have that family dynamic where we're very strong and, we talk to each other a lot and we're very open, I would say. We have a great supportive family dynamic, but also memories also last forever. So they come along with me. My family is going to be coming along with me into the future, and my memories are going to be coming along with me into the future. But I can't go with you, meaning like I just can't. I can't live in memories anymore. Like there's so much more life to be lived, and
Mhm.
I'm like doing a disservice to myself if all I do is just try to live in something that's not even happening anymore. So
Mhm.
that's the ending of the song.
That's our wonderful lyric breakdown. Thank you, Annalise.
I know that a lot of the lyrics are pretty straightforward. I just thought I'd go into some of the
Yeah,
more
that was very in depth, and I didn't even catch this really listening to the song, but I did notice that your first verse talking about memories about people that are no longer in your life versus the second verse where you're talking about family and people that are still in your life
yeah,
kind of tells a nice story, I suppose, of like I don't know, the first verse being like you're ready to move on, and then the second verse is just all about like family, and even though they're still in your life, obviously, and they're wonderful people, you're still looking to separate, or you know what I mean, where it's like you're doing your own thing, and you said like can't go with you, but, like you're still even with all these memories trying to like pave the way forward for yourself.
yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's a nice dichotomy between um, past of like people that aren't there and the past of the people who are there. Like I'm
Right.
readily acknowledging the past that I have with the people that are here. So
Hmm.
interesting. Um, yeah, do you want to talk about how we got the song title?
How we got the song title? I'm trying to remember the story. We had a working title that I don't think neither of us
Neither of us
really
agree.
liked.
We always called it different things. I called it Rushing Back. You called it Brighter Days.
Yeah, there was a couple demos that went for the song. Um, One of them started off as a Rushing Back remix by the artist Flume, and then the second one was just a demo. But neither of those titles again really worked
Yeah,
until it was I think it was
it
like
was
the
like,
week before the album came out
yeah,
was our last studio session where we were recording and finishing up tracks. When we made the call, we're like, what was it? We just didn't know what to call it. Was that it? And then
yeah,
we were feeling stuck or something. And then we were like, oh, should we just call it like TBD? Or like, oh, how about tentative? And we're both like, oh,
yeah.
that pretty much explains the whole message of the song. And it worked out really well. Like, I think it's a really nice fitting title. especially given the lyrics and everything. But it can't, yeah, it just kind of happened organically, and again, kind of just on the spot. I guess another little happy accident.
Woohoo! Yeah, I cannot imagine a title just fitting so well with the song.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add about this song before we close things off?
No, but you can stream our song from our website, Fansusi Music.
Soundsusisound.com. I'll drop a link right here so you can see it.
Yes.
Please go check it out. You can stream Reticence on all your streaming services, and they're also available for purchase on our website. So
Yes.
thanks for watching, everybody. But that's
Thanks.
our video. Yay!
Thank you for watching.